Are you guys ready for the baddies?
Yes.
This is a really good story. I wanted to make sure we had at least one 30-pound brain in attendance for a story that's this well written. So we got BVG in the house. And again, this comes from Raquel. I very much appreciate your stream and the information you share about men and their perspectives on women. Sadly, the average modern woman has it wrong in today's world, and I wish to honest goodness that women would take the time to understand that their virtue shapes society. I have a story I'd like to share. Although I could keep them coming, I will share just the one for now. When I was a little girl, I was my Uncle Dee's favorite niece. He is my father's brother. We lived for a short time with him and his family in a small apartment in Southern California. I looked up to and adored his wife, Patricia, mainly because I was young and she was very tall and very beautiful. She and my uncle were high school sweethearts, and my uncle had a very promising future in sports, specifically football, and was offered full ride scholarships. Sadly, that ship sailed when he got Patricia pregnant.
Oh, no.
And they had to get married. This was in the late 70s.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that she was totally on the pill and there must have just been a mistake or something. Yeah. Then again, this is like the very tail end of the free love era, so who the hell knows? He felt he needed to get a job and work to provide for his new wife and child. They ended up having 3 boys together. After their 3rd boy was born, they moved to Arizona, where he was offered very good work in the nuclear energy industry. Patricia, knowing that she was beautiful, felt that she deserved the finer things in life and decided that she would start working because my uncle just could not give her the fashion that she deserved.
There's that word.
Yeah.
Deserve.
You notice how they always feel like they've finally come into their worth after their gunt is completely blown out and they're well past the wall. And
but I'm just wondering, like,
listen,
what was put towards deserving?
If their gunt is so blown out, it's the equivalent of the Queen's anus and Aliens. Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. If you've never heard her fart, there's a reason for that. Just saying. Think about it. Ugh. Well, shock of all shockers. I'm sure that BVG as a writer knows where this is going. She ended up having an affair with her boss and pregnant with her boss's child.
Oh, my God.
Baby number 4, baby daddy number 2. She wanted to divorce my uncle, and so she did. It was devastating. My cousins faced turmoil and anger and so much sadness over the divorce. I was about 6 or 7 when it was finalized, and they were around 10, 8, and 4, respectively. A very strange thing happened after the divorce. Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Patricia told my uncle that she had a friend that she thought would be good for him and introduced him to Celia.
Celiac disease?
Well, I'm taking my poon off the table, but here's my friend.
Yeah,
you can fuck her.
Never, ever take the side pocket deal. Okay.
No.
Oh, my God.
And what do they say about birds of a feather?
Flock together.
Yeah, they kind
of. Birds of a feather flock together, fuck together.
I stay the fuck away from
drip all their cootie juices on all your dishes.
On the dishes. Stay away.
At first, my uncle was not interested, but Celia persisted and won his attention. She was also divorced and had a daughter of her own and would manipulate her daughter into thinking that my uncle was her new daddy.
Oh, God.
Just what you
want.
That's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Celia was very quickly, she wriggled her way into our family's affairs and made sure that her daughter was front and center in all our family functions. It was weird. I was about 8 by this time and sensed something was really off. Celia and my uncle ended up getting married. She got pregnant, and while she was pregnant, she told everyone that the baby was going to have Down syndrome. So we all worried about the unborn child and just how severe it would be. When he was born, he did not have Down syndrome.
Good.
He was totally normal, looked just like my uncle, healthy, strong, dark hair and eyes, and we were all wondering, what the hell? Why would you say such an absurd thing?
Listen, she's out of her goddamn mind.
A little Munchausen by proxy?
Yeah.
I talked it up to being young and naive, but the adults were now very suspicious of her. One time we had gone down to visit them for Easter, and by this time their boy was about 2, walking and talking, but he had this ring of blonde hair on the top of his head. It was the weirdest thing. I still to this day remember Celia giving him a haircut in the backyard and seeing this perfectly blonde ring around his head, and the rest of his hair was dark brown.
That's the markings from the alien penis that was bouncing off his head.
Got it in the field.
You're not going to get away clean. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
He got bleached by the white stuff. He was it's just nasty. He was screaming because he didn't want a haircut. She told everyone that he had brain cancer, and that was why he had a blonde ring around his head.
God dang, you want to talk about inviting bad karma.
No.
What the
Very smart lady here. At this point, I didn't understand, but what I was witnessing was Munchausen by proxy. Celia would come up with the most bizarre things to be wrong with her son, and it started to worry the adults to the point that the other cousins weren't allowed to be alone with her. My aunt and dad finally got to a point where they felt they needed to do something, so while my uncle, their brother, was at work and Celia was gone, they went through my uncle's house looking for any kind of paperwork on Celia and the boy. They couldn't find anything in the entire house. No social security card, credit cards, birth certificates, no mail whatsoever.
Wow. I'm okay. Now you got my curiosity.
This is when the rabbit hole starts to get a little bit deeper.
Now, this is the chill going up the back of my neck here.
Yep. It's like when when you were out in the wilderness and everything went quiet, right? Yeah. My uncle's work required him to travel, and since his ex-wife Patricia was demanding Alice isn't horny anymore money and child support, and he was now supporting a new family, he worked constantly to pay his bills. Celia became pregnant again.
Oh my God.
And this time when the baby was born, he looked like her. Shortly after, things between my uncle and Celia became rocky, and he came home for some time off. While he was home alone, he received a phone call from a man that said,
"Here we go.
I want you to leave my wife alone."
Oh my God.
My uncle says, "Well, who's your wife?" And the man replies, "Celia is my wife."
No, my God. So this is in the mid 80s by the time this is going down.
Yep.
Okay.
It is, this is the era of booger sugar and whores, apparently.
I remember these days. I remember the 80s.
A little American Psycho action going on here. Come to find out, Celia was married to someone else while she was married to my uncle. We found out that Celia was married not to just two men, but also another man in addition to those two.
So this is like a tri-cock situation.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a tripod of cocks.
It's like a human centipede going on here.
She'll probably get triple child support.
She's at the front, and then everybody else's lips is tied to her ass, so she shits, and then everybody just gets the leftover.
That's crazy.
Wow. Apparently, this woman was a career homewrecker and blackmailer. She would get men to marry her or have an affair with her, and then she would blackmail the men into giving her thousands of dollars just to keep her mouth shut. It was a game that became very apparent that she knew very well. Needless to say, my uncle filed for divorce and went through a very nasty custody battle in the courts over his boys with Celia. My dad convinced him to have a paternity test done on both of the boys.
Oh, God.
Test results came in. Where's Maury when you need him? First boy was his. The second was not.
Wow.
It crushed him. He had loved that baby like it was his, and for him to give it up was truly devastating.
Do you know how fucking devastating?
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
My dad and aunt gave over a ton of documentation and information to my uncle's lawyer, and the lawyer was such a piece of shit. He told them that he lost the paperwork and nothing could be done.
Oh, God.
I hope that dude got disbarred.
No, well,
Yeah.
listen, let's be honest. That's the kind of lawyer that needs a tune-up.
Oh, it gets better. You ready?
Here we go.
Later, we found out this lawyer had begun an affair with Celia during the divorce proceeding.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, I would go after that dude's law license.
That has got to be
Absolutely.
one hell of a magic baby maker down there.
It's a whistle sack. Come on.
Well, maybe she sucks dick well, but maybe she can suck your soul out and spit it back in. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously she's doing something to get these dudes.
And this is the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We didn't have the internet to look like background checks on these women. You
Yeah.
could either afford a PI or you were on God's good humor.
That's right.
Oh, Wow. Needless to say, he lost the custody battle and was granted child support and visitation for 6 weeks a year.
Yeah.
Celia would call constantly asking for money for medical bills for the son that she had with my uncle. The saddest part to me is that our family lost this battle overall to this crazy bitch. We tried to write, send cards, letters. Eventually, we started to feel that making phone calls was risky. The reason it was so risky to make a phone call is because Celia would manipulate the boy into thinking that we were horrible people trying to steal him and convince him that he didn't want to see any of us, including his own father.
Oh my God.
What was I saying earlier
do.
about parental alienation being the norm, not the exception?
I understand it. I think everybody watching understands it.
This is some evil shit, man.
It is. It's sick. And it's even worse that it's not dealt with.
Yeah. The fact that she's winning pisses me off.
It's actually encouraged.
Yeah. And they win as often as not. That's the really sad part. Eventually, my uncle came to the conclusion that less harm might be done to his son if he kept his distance. I think he really tried his best with the circumstances that he was dealt. He paid child support for all 4 of his boys in full, but it came at a very high price. When his son with Celia turned 18, he reached out to him and wanted to see him and try to connect with him. They agreed to meet, and his son never showed up. Wow.
Yeah.
He was heartbroken. My uncle steered clear of women in general for almost 20 years after this. I feel very bad for him because I don't know that his boys from his first marriage really understand what he went through. I know they felt abandoned by him sometimes, but the system is so rigged against men. What choice did my uncle have other than to work like a dog, pay for their child support, and then rarely get to see them?
Yes.
It is bullshit. I don't know how modern women have become so absolutely insane. It was always clear to me that woman power was a load of crap. I always knew from a very small age that girls could never be like boys. So I never really bought into the whole feminist ideology. I'm curious to know what is so wrong with actually recognizing the dichotomy between the two sexes and honoring them.
Yeah, I have no idea how it became such a... it's like curse words when you say men and women are different. And
I know.
Literally, they look at you like you're just blaspheming God or something.
Yeah, and for some reason, they think it's easier to literally try to edit the reality we all see and experience with all 5 senses on a daily basis.
Yes.
But if we did that, and actually with the differences coming together as complementary to build like it's supposed to, the people that have the vested interest in keeping that apart,
they lose
all
their
their vested interests.
That's why do you think they're going so far by pushing this Troon ideology on kids? They know that we're heading into tough times where families might actually come together, so they're doing everything they can before they get so difficult to just break them apart.
Yes. You are correct.
Because if you have family and you have God, you don't need government.
No.
When you take those 2 away and government's all you have nothing. Because government don't give a shit about you.
We have fear and resentment.
You have China.
Yeah.
You have China.
Yeah.
Actually, Japan holds most of our debt, but they're sucking off China's egg rolls so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing it's pixelated.
Dude, this is breaking my heart, man.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. My uncle actually remarried for a 3rd time.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Oh,
Dude.
All right.
Well, let me get finished with it before you judge.
All right.
If there's anything there. This time, he actually married a woman that is half his age. At first, I was like, well, that sounds like a sugar daddy situation. But they've been married for several years now, and she is a good traditional woman. She was a nurse and walked away from her career over the COVID nonsense. Okay, that's a woman. She takes good care of my uncle, and they're very happy. He just recently retired, and they're enjoying their time together. I know there are still good women out there. I'm one of them, and I know several of them, but I know that my uncle's story is not the only one.
Nope.
Thank you for creating a place where these stories can be heard. I think it is making a difference, and hopefully women can find their senses.
If I could just get if I can just get this channel into the mainstream, it will blow the fuck up. Because there's so many dudes out there who are just sick and tired of getting the fucking government Twinkie in their 4th point of contact. Whenever the 3 magic words are spoken, I'm not happy.
You gave the best advice. You gave me the best advice. You're not alone. You're not special. Meaning, like, this is happening systemically with economic and political vested interest.
Yeah.
You ain't good.
And what's that, Billy? BVG?
BVG.
Oh,
And I noticed something right off the bat: the extreme incompetence of the attorney.
Oh yeah.
The fact is, if she was already married, he didn't need to file for divorce because any subsequent marriage isn't valid at all. She's a bigamist.
Amen
Point two,
to that. It didn't even occur to me.
bigamy is a felony in most states.
Damn.
She should have done in Texas, in Texas, bigamy is a felony with a maximum sentence of 5 years.
Wow. And you know what? Here's the thing. For men to get access to those kind of laws to be applied to women, they're literally going to have to petition the prosecutor telling them this is a felony, this is what happened, and if he doesn't do anything, you have to file a federal lawsuit for sexual discrimination because that prosecutor and judge are enforcing 2 sets of laws.
That lawyer should have been disbarred for 2 reasons. One, the gross negligence in agreeing to put it forth as a divorce, losing paperwork on purpose, and fucking his client.
Well, this is the mid 80s. There wasn't cameras everywhere, so things could happen. Just saying, things could have happened.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.